Okay, so now we're going to talk about the effects of A. And so we're talking about something in this form for the quadratic equation, or quadratic function. We have a constant being multiplied times the part that's being squared. Okay, so we're going to see the effects of that. So this first one, that's just our basic parabola. Oh, it's off. Shoot. All right, let's try again. I liked the old program better. Alright. If I had a little more control over the graphing at least. Okay. And you can make a table of values, but that's our basic parabola. Alright. Now we're going to say 2 times that. So when we have our x and our g of x, you can plug in like -2, and what's going to happen is you're going to have g of -2 is going to equal 2 times -2 squared. Now you have to use the order of operations, so that means you do the exponent first. So 2 times 4, which is going to get you an 8. All right, I'll do another one. -1, you're going to have g of -1 equals 2 times -1 squared. -1 squared is 1. So you get 2 times 1, which is just 2. And you can put in 0, and you're going to get 0. You can put in 1, you're going to get 2. And you put in 2, you're going to get 8. Okay? So if I graph these, -2, 8 would be way up here. And then -1, 2 would be right there. And then 0, 0, that would still be right there. Then I'd have 1, 2, and then I'd have 2, 8. Okay. And it's going through this point right there. Okay? So it's kind of stretched the parabola. If you drew that parabola, the basic one, the original f of x, if you drew it on like a balloon or silly putty, and then you stretched the balloon or the silly putty, that's what's happening. So this is called a vertical stretch. And they might just say stretch because for our quadratic ones, we're not going to have a horizontal one, so you have to take another class to do that. But it's a vertical stretch. It's like you took each of your x values. Let me do this real quick. So I didn't do this before, but the original table of values, you know, that we've done before, -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 4. And then you multiplied all of those by 2. And that's how you got the 8, the 2, the 0, the 2, and the 8. Okay? So that's what happens. If you have a number here, and then there's a little thing I have to say in a minute, but in this case, we have a 2. It stretched the parabola. Okay. Now we're going to look at what happens if we have like a 1/2. So you can kind of think what's going to happen here a little bit. X and h of x. So let's say I put in -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Well, I'm going to get these values, but each of them are going to be multiplied by a 1/2. So 1/2 of 4 is 2. 1/2 of 1 is 1/2. 1/2 of 0 is still 0. And then this is going to be a 1/2, and this is going to be a 2. All right, let's graph those and see what it looks like. -2, 2 would be right there. -1, 1/2. This is probably going to be hard for me to draw, but it's kind of right there. 0, 0, and 1, 1/2, and then 2, 2. So I get a little parabola like there. It's like somebody took the basic parabola, the one that we're used to, our friend f of x here, and sat on it. And we call this a compression. This is called the compression. Other books call it not a squish. They call it a, oh, I forget what word they use, but we can use the word compression. So it's like squashed. Okay? So it's not stretching. What's the opposite of stretching? Flattening it out, I guess. Okay? So that's what happens. Now, how do you know if it's going to be a stretch or a compression? Well, here's the rule. If A is, if the absolute value of A is greater than 1, then it's going to be a stretch. But if the absolute value of A is less than 1, so something like 1/2 or 1/3 or 4/5, then it's going to be a compression. Okay? If A equals 1, then you don't have a stretch or a compression. You're back to the regular shape for the parabola. What happens if A is negative? Remember, if A is negative, it's going to be an upside down parabola. Okay? You'll still have the stretch and the compression, but it just won't be facing up. It'd be upside down. All right, we'll see this on the next video.